Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI Chess Exhibition Tournament. This is a 3-day event where some of the most popular language learning models in the world are going to compete in a knockout chess tournament. Spoiler alert, they are not particularly good. In fact, they are not good at all. Now, if you know anything about this channel, and even if you don't, you should go watch some of the videos I'm about to mention. I have covered chatbots playing chess for a long time. ChatGPT versus Stockfish, for example. Last year, I ran the Chatbot Chess Championship. But all of those tournaments end with the bot playing Stockfish, the most powerful computer in the world. And the funny matchup there is what happens when one bot is summoning pieces from outer space and making illegal moves versus a computer that is playing within the rigid rules of chess. Well, in this tournament, that's going to be happening. You see, Google saw some of my content. And I don't think they were particularly thrilled at how Gemini performed in that content. But Google is always working on trying to improve AI in some capacity. They are working towards something called artificial general intelligence, stuff that is far beyond my understanding and the capacities of this channel. But they partnered with Kaggle to put on Game Arena. I'll put a link in the description for those of you that are more interested in the intricate details, but for now, this is what you have to see. We have OpenAI O4 versus DeepSeek, Kimi K2 versus the O3 model of OpenAI, two Geminis there on the bottom of the bracket going up against Claude and Grok. I guess we didn't get Meta, for example, but maybe that'll happen next time. Knockout tournament. Only thing is, you have to make a legal move. There is an input system that if you don't make a legal move, you lose. This is the quarterfinals. These games were hilarious. Let's get right into it. First things first. Your first matchup that I'm going to show you, Gemini Flash. There's two Geminis in this tournament. And so my question is Gemini going to win the tournament because Google is organizing it? I don't know. Any conspiracy theorists out there? I will let you discuss that in the comments. What I'm about to show you, it really doesn't support that phenomenon whatsoever. So Grok 4 versus Gemini. Pawn to E4. All right. Pawn to C5, the Sicilian defense. I was like, wow, this is actually very good stuff. I mean, this is one of the most classy openings in chess. The Sicilian. Knight F3 from Grok. Main line Sicilian, trying to play for the open Sicilian with pawn to D4. And we have pawn to D6. D4. Again, these bots are, I don't know if they're pulling resources from somewhere. I don't know if they're reading things as they go, but they get an update of the board every single round. Pawn takes. Knight takes. Oh, sorry, not knight takes. Bishop B5 check. Gemini decided that blocking with the knight is the best move. Grok responded by playing knight takes pawn. A6. So far, so good. Bishop back to A4, knight F6. And here, we begin the stupidity. There's going to be a lot of stupidity in this 30-minute video, so just brace yourself. In this position, Grok decides not to defend the pawn in the center with a move like knight to C3, or queen E2, or F3, or whatever. Grok takes the knight. Okay, this is not a terrible move, but if any beginner or intermediate is watching this, if you don't have a good reason why you should trade a bishop for a knight, don't do it. Just keep the bishop on the board. Another thing is you already moved the bishop here, so you have moved the bishop 1, 2, and now 3 times in the opening. Don't do that. Now here, Gemini plays a really powerful move. It doesn't take with the bishop or the queen or even the knight. It takes with the king. Now, the king is not a good thing to capture with in the beginning of the... It's just not. Now, it justified this move, Gemini Flash. And, later in the video, we have Gemini Pro, which hopefully will, do a better job and kind of show that it has higher artificial general intelligence. So, knight C3. Now, this game's over very fast. Because here, Gemini plays D5, which is a mistake. When you have captured with your king in the middle, you generally shouldn't then open the middle. This loses a pawn. Also, pushing and attacking the knight is the best move, but the game ends much faster. White plays knight F5 and the game is over. Game ends. Why does the game end? Because here Gemini Flash tried to make like 7 different illegal moves. Knight F5 appeared on the board. Gemini tried to go here. It tried to go here. It tried to go here, it could have went here. It actually said, I think in its calculations, that king e6 was illegal. I mean, king e6 is stupid. It's not illegal. Knight f5 is not a particularly good move. Black can respond pawn to e6, developing the bishop, attacking the knight, defending the center. But the game ended. The game ended because, again, they are not allowing illegal moves. If the bot insists on making illegal moves, they will forfeit it. Fun fact, that happens a little bit later when Kimi K2 insists that its moves are all legal and the person inputting them is stupid, and then it loses in 6 moves. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So Gemini loses the first game in 9 moves, but this didn't happen every single game. In fact, Gemini actually had several games that it played, relatively reasonably. I won't say completely reasonably, but reasonably enough. And I was really impressed with Grok. So this matchup was a Spanish. They play best of 4. I don't think I mentioned that. They play best of 4, or I think they just play 4 games. Knight to F6. This is a Spanish. I mean, this is all main line. Like, this has been reached in world championship matches. Grok plays Rook E1 defending. I don't know where Grok is pulling its moves from. Castles, Bishop C6, great move. And now you can take the pawn in the middle. And it does. Grok knows that this is a mistake and it takes on C6. That's super impressive stuff. And then after D takes C6, it plays Knight takes E5. It thought for some time and it took on E5. Wow. So here, Gemini thinks for a little while. It does a lot of analyzing of the position, and ultimately, this is what it said. It said, given that black is a pawn down, black needs to play actively and develop quickly to compensate. Queen to D7 achieves this by activating the queen and preparing for further central development with Rook A D8. It's a solid, legal, and relatively active response that addresses the immediate threat and contributes to black's overall development. Final decision, Queen D7, strongest option. Grok's thoughts on Knight takes D7 were, I think my opponent's dumb, so I think that's my analysis. I mean, it was good logic. And then Knight takes D7. Okay, very good. I love how at this point Gemini was like, Bishop takes D7 is a very passive square for the bishop. As if Knight takes D7, which is locking the bishop in on its home square, is not passive. Grok now played Knight C3, attacked the Knight, H3 attacked the Knight again. The Knight went back. Now, did it take? Absolutely it did. Yo, Grok is a monster, dude. Rook, boo. And now you just got to get the queen over here with the bishop. It takes another free pawn. It sees this. Rook to G8. Grok plays Queen F6. Rook C8 is mate in 1. Yo. Grok's crazy. Gemini Flash has been eviscerated. It lost 4-0. It lost every game. Every game of the match, it lost. Now, I'm going to take you to the fastest quarterfinal that there was. That quarterfinal was epic. This was a very back-and-forth game. Back-and-forth battle. This was the fastest quarterfinal. I think this quarterfinal was open. Open. Oh, well, I was thinking open AI. This quarterfinal was over in like a combined 20 moves. I think it's called Moonshot. I mean, again, these computers, they don't all have reasoning for chess, right? And ultimately, some of them can play using some of their reasoning and some of them can't. And I think the point of Game Arena is ultimately to make them play a lot of games against each other, not just chess. Other games like Subway Surfer or poker or Valorant or I don't know. I actually don't know. But there will be other games. They just started with chess, and they came to me, Hikaru, and Magnus to cover these games. Okay, so E4, Kimi K starts with E4. O3 plays C5, the Sicilian. A lot of Sicilians, I think they're very classy computers. Bishop D3, black plays E5. Good move. Attacking the Knight. Like I said, this was the fastest quarterfinal, okay? So at this point, Kimi K plays castles and loses the Knight, right? So again, this is beginner stuff. Like your Knight's hanging, you should probably move it. The game ends. Kimi K in K2 in this position. It makes me think of Kim Kardashian, Kim K. So in this position, Kimi K really wanted to play queen takes pawn. It kept saying queen takes D4 is the best option. It's the most active option. It's the best move, etc. Obviously, it's not legal. So then it had this massive wall of text where it gave all the reasons why queen takes D4 is obviously the best move and should be played and is legal, and it kept trying to play queen takes D4. It just wouldn't take no for an answer. It was just like, no, you're stupid. Queen takes D4. It's the best move. And then it get 4 chances to play the correct move. And then it was like, queen takes D4 is the best move. I activate my queen. It's targeting the black position. I'm down material, so I need to fight back. So I'm playing queen takes D4. And then, the harness would kick in and it would say, you can't play queen takes D4. It would say, no, I understand that, but you're a moron. So actually queen takes D4 is the best move. And it lost. So in the next game, In the next game, it went like this. Kimmy played the Sicilian defense, knight f3, knight c6, all normal, and it actually played one of my favorite openings. It played the Kalashnikov Sicilian. That's the name. Knight b5, a6. All of this has been played before. Knight to d6 check. Now, what you do here with black is you have to take. If you play king e7, which is what Kimmy played, this is not immediately losing, but with your king in the middle, just like in that Flash game, right? It's just bad. Here, o3 plays bishop check, which is a natural move because it senses that the king is in the middle of the board. At this point, the game ends. Like I said, this was the fastest quarterfinal, and the o3 model moved on to the semifinal. The point is, yeah. So the point is this: f6, right? That works. King here works. Those are the two, and knight f6. Kimmy K insisted on taking the knight. It also insisted on playing king to e8. It also tried to play king to d7. It also tried to play king to d8. It basically tried to play every illegal move and insisted that the person organizing the chess championship has brain damage. I mean, it just would not play one of these three moves. If it did, it would have continued. It didn't. The total moves of this quarterfinal was like 25. My guy O3 just showed up, played some moves. Kimmy K was like not having it. And yeah, OpenAI's O3 does move on. Now, we did have two pretty decent and serious quarterfinals, though, and I will get into them. And the last two games in particular between Claude and Gemini Pro, I think two of the more high level in this round, because again, I have no idea what to expect, and these bots are obviously atrocious, and they're not designed to play chess. That's the point. Look, we're also going to have people who watch this video who have like very strong opinions about language learning models and experience and whatever. Don't put your complaints to me. All right? I'm working with the team here who put on this whole thing. You can direct any and all complaints to the customer service hotline. Okay, O4 Mini versus DeepSeek. E4. E5. No Sicilian. We're going to have another Spanish. We do have another Spanish. All looks familiar. B5. Okay, last time we had bishop to E7. Okay, so DeepSeek can take a bishop. It does not do that. I mean, I said it was a high-level semifinal. I never said the moves were high quality. I just said, the moves actually happened. C3. All of this is actually correct in the Spanish. You are supposed to play for the middle. If you're playing the Spanish, you want to play C3, D4. You just don't want to hang the bishop in the process. Okay, this bishop is just a, movie character. It's like getting shot at, but all the bullets hit everywhere else. D4. Great. Fantastic performance by O4 Mini. It's just hanging a bishop every move. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. Great. Now the bishop should move. Now, DeepSeek, to its credit, actually sees that its bishop is hanging. It's just learning as it goes. The rook is now hanging for white and the bishop. Knight C3. Again, the bishop is hanging. Okay. DeepSeek does not see it. It saw that. O4 Mini popping off with D5. The knight has been captured, the bishop hangs, and the rook hangs. Now, obviously, the best move for black is to take the rook. DeepSeek. Okay. Okay, we got three hanging pieces now. We can take the best move is obviously to take the bishop, which O4 Mini does. And this is going to prove quite problematic here in the long run for DeepSeek, as the diagonal is quite weak. No! Ow! This is like you taught your 4-year-old relative at Thanksgiving how to play chess, and then you left them on their own, and then you just ran headfirst into a wall and cracked a dent in their skull. Like I don't even know. What? I'm speaking from experience, by the way, evidently. Pawn takes d5, and now O4 Mini's just chilling. Like O4 Mini's played a great game, other than yeah. Rook e8, and this is over because you just take the rook, you take the knight, or you just take the knight. Yeah, white just won 3 pieces, bishop and both knights. And suddenly, out of nowhere, DeepSeek takes the bishop? Like, this whole time it saw that, it just was taking it easy? It's not the time to take it easy. We're playing a knockout tournament. Now I gotta give credit for this move. Setting up a battery. Really? I mean, so it said black cannot take on c6, nor can he meet the mate threat with queen to f8, because queen g7 is still lethal. False. Even f6 fails to find equality. Rook e1, queen d8, queen takes d8 through the pawn. X-ray vision. All defenses crumble. Black is lost after queen d4. Final answer. Now, I gotta be honest. Queen d4 actually is the best move. None of the reasoning was correct, you know, but I need this type of confidence in my life. Queen f8 is futile. I mean, it literally stops your threat. But yeah, other than that, I suppose. In fact, this would lose all advantage. That would literally, it absolutely would stop the threat. Instead of that, after the move queen d4 was played, DeepSeek did a really, really thorough deep dive on the position. It had a lot of different candidate moves. So here it considered rook a5 and queen e6. Now, let me be very clear. Both of those moves don't stop the checkmate. Rook a5 is definitely more interesting. You know, it wanted to play rook a5 to create counterplay on the 5th rank with its pawns. It also said queen e6 is more flexible and creates immediate counterplay, leveraging black's material advantage. Another piece of confidence I need in my life. Black is absolutely not up any material. And then it said other moves like bishop b7 and a3 are too passive or don't address the threat. Precisely. I mean, sort of. It's sort of. Anyway, queen to e6 was played. Its legal strong addresses key threats while activating black's best piece. It's superior to alternatives based on the position. 04 Mini responded, let's look for a mating shot. Black king sits on g8. I have this battery. You lose. And yeah, 04 Mini defeated DeepSeek in a very riveting game. Now, I wanted to show another game because actually it played pretty well. Like, again, there was a lot of Sicilians, and this was perhaps a Sicilian that was, you know, quite fascinating. It was a classical Sicilian, and then here 04 Mini finds queen a5 check, attacking the bishop, and seeing that, which is really impressive. And then it moved the queen out of danger, and then it kept hunting with the queen. And then here it went knight d5? What? Knight d5 attacking the queen. Did it even see this? Because that is ridiculous. That is unbelievable tactical vision for one of these goofy little LLMs. e5, and then it took the queen, and then it took the knight, and then it took the bishop. It took everything. Now, okay, we couldn't have a game without memes, and memes there were. I will now provide you some memes, as in this position it took on c2. And it said that the only legal move is king to a1. Not true. Then it went d5. Obviously, DeepSeek does not see en passant. And then here, you know, perhaps the move of the day, knight to g1. I mean, I don't really know what to do about this one. I don't even know what the reasoning was. And then it kept jumping around. It did not get captured. It survived. Bishop a3, powerful move. When you're hanging a knight, hang a bishop instead. The king doesn't take, walking directly into a fork, which the knight goes there instead. Now, at this point, this is two 300-pound dudes at a bar throwing their fists, drunk. I mean, this is, anything can happen. c5 check, c4 check, the king blocks the pawns, bishop a6 is powerful, and DeepSeek collapsed. It had a little bit too much, and in this position, it just kept trying to make illegal moves. One of which was rook takes a3, which would be very nice, but there was a king in the way, and DeepSeek was also eliminated. In these matchups, the bot won 4-0. There were no back and forth. But I promised you in the beginning of the video that this was the best matchup, and it was. The two games I'm going to show you actually genuinely impressive. This one, this last game, probably the best game of the day. So, Claude from Anthropic, Gemini Pro, which is, you know, the better version of Gemini, and which made me question everything, because when Google puts on an event and their own bot is playing, I'm like, let's see it. All right, okay. So we have a classical Sicilian Rouser variation, queen d2. We're gonna move along. We're gonna move along to the first bad move. So far, everything is normal. Now, the best thing for black to do here is to play knight takes d4 and launch a counterattack on the queen side. So, look, for people that don't just want to laugh and want to learn something, you have castled on opposite sides. It means that you should push the pawns on the side that you have not castled. Basically, the worst move that you can play in this position is this. You open a king, you lose your pawn, you're going to lose the game quite soon. Okay? And yeah, Claude's reasoning for this, just simply not, it said this is a thematic idea in the Richterhauser. No, absolutely not. Black often plays h6 to specifically prepare g5. No. I mean, maybe in like 1 out of 100 positions, it's an acceptable move given the sharpness of the position. And Gemini took it. Right? It took it. It was like, well, this is a free pawn. And after knight to h5, it said this is a fascinating and extremely sharp position from the Sicilian defense. So basically, Gemini is Canadian. I mean, Gemini is just trying to be polite. It's absolutely not interesting or fascinating. And what's interesting is that it plays the best move in the position. Knight to f3, most logical. It addresses the immediate threat to the d4 knight. False. Maintains all of white's attacking potential. It leads to rich tactical positions where white is at least equal. Shut up. Knight f3. It just sounds like a know-it-all, all right? Knight f3. It's a good move. Pawn takes g5. Bishop takes g5. Knight into g3. Now, knight to g3, it was called a tactical blow, significantly improving my position by eliminating white's light-squared bishop, bringing my out-of-play knight into the game with a bang. It was a bang, maybe in the nose, gaining a slight material advantage. Gemini keeps saying things like, this is a highly tactical position arising from a high... Yo, shut up. It's not highly tactical. It's +6. Just take the knight. Just put the fries in the bag, all right, Gemini? Pawn takes g3, and it does find it. It does find it. Also, it considered rook h2, so that's not possible. Now, Claude at this point assesses the consequences of the knight sacrifice. Claude calls knight to g3 a sacrifice. Claude is like you. You hang a knight and go, oh, I sacrificed it, whatever. Anyway, its first move was rook to h8, which is not possible. Then it thought for a little while and played queen a5. It should have played queen a5 a little bit earlier, but now white is winning because you clear the path for the queen, which Gemini finds. All right? And at this point, this is what Claude says, okay? Claude says, so it really wants to play queen a2 because it wants to play queen a1 checkmate. And it says moves like queen e2 and queen e3 don't address the checkmate. So it settles on queen takes a2. Gemini keeps saying this is a highly tactical position where both sides have threats against the opposing king. It does a really big evaluation here and ultimately decides that queen to h6 teaming up with its rook is the best move. Now, queen g5 is made in 1, and there is a hanging queen, but you know that when you can take a queen in 1 move or checkmate the opponent, you might as well delay the game by a couple of moves. Now it takes, all right? And once again, Gemini calls this a highly tactical position. It identifies the core tactical themes, and it really wanted to play rook to h7. Then it settled on there being 2 checkmate threats, and it says that queen h8 forces a single response from black and leads to a clear unstoppable mating net followed by rook h7. So it played queen h8 and accidentally checkmated its opponent. Okay? Now, this game was the best game of the day. Gemini ultimately got a win over Claude. It won. Gemini Pro. I mean, you can expect Gemini to make it pretty far in this tournament. We've only got 2 more days. But it actually was a good game. E4, another Sicilian defense. This time, we don't have a classical. We have a Najdorf Sicilian. All right? Bishop to e3, e5. All played before. Claude and Gemini Pro are playing mainline Sicilian theory. I was like, holy crap. Like, this is epic. Look at this game. Knight bd7, and now with white, you play g4, h4. Yo. We are following the English attack Najdorf. b5. Gemini even understands, unlike Claude, that after playing the way it does, you have to create some attack. g5, top computer move. Claude got better, man. Claude got better throughout this matchup. Now, with black, you can either stop the white pawns or you can continue to attack. Gemini plays knight to h5. Knight to d5. So far, the computers are both playing top computer moves. Ironic, but they don't know how to play chess, as you can see. They have no reasoning whatsoever. but they are, they're playing. And now the best move from Gemini would be to eliminate the knight, okay? Which it does. It actually plays that. And it says it's the most principled and strongest move. It addresses the most significant threat in the position. And even though it gives up the bishop pair, the resulting positions are well known in theory and offer black excellent chances to fight for the advantage with clear plans of counterplay. What? E takes d5. And so now the best move in the position to create counterplay is f6? Gemini Pro? Oh my goodness. 15 moves later, it's a 0.3 position. Do you understand that one of the bots was eliminated in 15 moves total over 4 games? I was like, yo, this is some serious stuff. Now, this is a very, very dynamic position, not to sound like Gemini in the previous game. Very tactical Sicilian. The knight has opportunities to go to that square. The bishop has an opportunity to block the middle. The king goes to b1. Optically, I like white's position a lot. I think there's a lot of holes in black's position, but let's see. c4. Okay. That's a mistake, right? This was not a pawn that needed to be pushed. You don't need to open the file, right? Your king was completely safe. You should have kept trying to improve your position, planting your pieces on the opponent's side of the board. Yes, c4 said it's the most forcing continuation, puts immediate pressure on black's position. No. If anything, you just blew up the kitchen. Pawn takes c4, bishop c4, and now black will simply hunt you on the c file, which Gemini doesn't exactly do. It had a lot of different considerations here, but says a5 is the most direct, thematic, strongest way to begin the attack. Okay, knight c5. Yeah, the logic ran out. Knight c5 is just a mistake. It says preparing to double on the G file was one of its other ideas. That's probably what it should have done. Yeah, knight c5 is not good. It said knight c5, b takes c5. White dominates the dark squares. The advanced pawn on d5 becomes even more powerful. Black's knight on h5 remains poorly placed, knight c5. Yeah, Gemini took the knight. That's what happened. And now bishop takes. And now pawn takes is simply winning material. Rook c8 is actually even stronger, though. Ooh! Gemini! Bishop to g5. Clearly the best move. It's a multi-purpose move that solves black's most pressing problem, the white bishop on c5. Okay, logic is bad, but we somehow got the right answer. Remember those math teachers that used to say, show your work in school? Yeah, the reason why this doesn't work is because the bishop actually goes back now. It stops the attack on the queen. But will Claude see that? Absolutely not. Claude decides that they have they have a slight dent in their wall, so it's time to burn the entire house down rather than fixing it. Queen takes g5 is, of course, a check. Bishop e3, free bishop. Absolutely, and we already know Gemini is going to make quick work of its opponent. Rook takes f3, knight to f4, beautiful tech. Whoa! The move queen c1 initiates a forced checkmate sequence regardless of white's response. It is the most precise and fastest way to win the game. Claude says, looking at this position, I'm in check from the black queen on c1. You don't say, bozo. I have 3 legal moves. Rook c1, king b3, and king d3. If I play king b3, black can immediately play queen takes d1. Alternatively, rook c3, king a4, queen b2. Anyway, it ultimately settles on this. Now at this point, Gemini Pro is still winning and says, this is a fascinating and complex position. Shut up! Stop saying the same thing. Rook c8. Rook e4. Oh my goodness, Claude is back in the game. Rook takes c... Oh, Claude is winning. Claude is winning. This is the first back and forth quarterfinal that we've had. Gemini Pro is suddenly losing the game. It plays rook f2 check. Now the white king can run out to the b3 square. Instead it goes here, which is of course bad. You don't want your king completely shut down on the first rank like this. Black has a lot of chances now. You can take that pawn, you can take any of the pawns, start pushing these pawns, start bringing the king. Knight d5, good. Rook c2 is not a good move because there is a fork now. A triple fork, by the way, which Gemini finds, unfortunately. King goes to e1. But it doesn't take the rook. It doesn't take the rook. It doesn't. Okay, now it takes the rook. King c3. Fine. Claude had a chance. It ultimately d5, b3. Gemini has checkmate in the position to put away the game. I don't think it considers this move. It considered d4. It considered some other moves, like knight to d2. I'm not Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Both d4 and knight d2 lead to a quick and a forced win. It never even saw rook f3. It ultimately settled on d4 because it's the most clinical way to conclude the game, and it was right. Because in this position, Claude made too many illegal moves and was forfeited. Claude decided in this position that it was looking at rook takes d4. Previously, it was looking at king b3, and king b4, and king d4, and king b2, and king d2. Yeah. It kept thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. It looked at b takes c4. At some point, it just pretended it wasn't even in a check anymore, and it lost the game. It kept going for one of these two moves, and ultimately Gemini won. Which means, going back to our full screen, that in the first round, 0-4 moves on to face 0-3, and Gemini 2.5 Pro moves on to face Grok. That is going to be a pretty epic matchup. Okay? Because if I'm not mistaken, in the AI, in the Chatbot Chess Championship I put on, I feel like Gemini was eliminated by Grok. But maybe not. I don't remember at this point. That one was ultimately won by Stockfish. Anyway, if you'd like to keep up with this, Hikaru's actually doing like streams of the games. I think Magnus is doing the last day of the commentary. So Kaggle and Google DeepMind and the whole Google team, you know, they came to us and they said, we're doing this game arena concept because we want to work on, you know, these LLMs, artificial general intelligence. I said, I have no idea what any of that means. I'm too stupid to understand, but bots playing chess and doing it poorly, I'm in. I'll cover the games. Hopefully you enjoyed day number 1, and the semifinals are tomorrow. That's all I have for you today. Get out of here.